We're at the bottom of page Yud Zayin. We're talking about the Yichud. The only thing that we're allowed to talk about, to the extent we understand that we need to understand about the Rebbeinu Shalom, we can't talk about his Chachma, his Gebura, because then we get questions that we can't answer. God is so smart. Well, how smart is he? Well, I don't know. He's 100 times this. Again, we can't talk about God's particular attributes. What we can say is that there's a midah called Yichud. His Chachma is unique. There's nothing to compare to it. His Gebura is so unique, is unique. There's nothing compared to it. But most importantly for us, his Shalita, his sovereignty is so unique that nothing can be compared to it, because nothing competes with him. There is nothing in the world that competes with the Rebbeinu Shalom's control of the world. Not this concept of Satan, not this concept of Sitra Achra. Ultimately, the Rebbeinu Shalom is in control of all these things. He makes all the decisions. So, Amnon Zehu Mashiach, the bottom of page Yud Zayin, Amnon Zehu Mashiach Shlonu Lahamin B'Emunah. This is what we must believe in. This basic principle called Yichud. Achabiru ha'emes azos hu ha'miskala mikol ha'maisim mikol ha'brios. Turning to page Yudches mikol ha'aftachos. But it becomes clear from all of creation, from everything that happens to creation, from everything that happens into the world, it is clear that the message that God's sending to us is, I want you to see my Yichud. I want you to understand my Yichud. That is, as we explained earlier. Now we're going to learn about what we're all doing on planet Earth. Now each of us has a different talkless on planet Earth about what we're going to do. But we're going to learn right now in a couple of minutes about the common goal that we all have, right? We all get, when we're young, we have other things on our mind. As we get older, we start thinking about, what is really my purpose here? What am I supposed to be doing on planet Earth? Enough years have gone by. What am I supposed to accomplish here? And the truth of the matter is, we all have one common goal. The way we go about it is 1 million, 8, 20, 30 million, whatever the number is, billion. Every person has his own direction in which he's going to accomplish this common goal. And that's why Klal Yisrael is Klal Yisrael. It's because we have a common, unified national goal. We have different ways to do it. If you think about an army can run and go into all different directions into battle, but they have one goal to accomplish a certain thing in that battle. Certain soldiers may go up a mountain from the east, certain soldiers from the west, certain soldiers may use tanks, certain soldiers may use airplanes, different methods from different directions, but the goal is to get the mountain, to capture the mountain. We're going to learn today about what the common goal is for every Yid, and every Yid's going to go about it his own way. V'nimtza, the Ramchal says, Shegilu Yechudei Zehu Masheratze Boi Haratzin Ha'elyon. The revelation of his Yichud is what God wants. That is his Ratzon. V'al Pi Kavona Zos Chokak Chukas Nevrov. And based upon that will for his Yichud to be revealed, he embedded all the rules for all creation. And all the events that go round and round, sometimes they look like we're going in circles, but all the masibos, everything that happens, it's all in order to get to this goal. Vinay. Now, let's listen here very carefully, because the Ramchal is now going to talk to us, and we'll see through our Friedlander. Ramchal is going to talk to us about, what are you doing on planet Earth? What is your bottom line goal that you want to accomplish? And therefore we are able to say, Shekol ha'olam umaloa, the entire universe and that which fills the universe, and everything that we can think about in the universe, and everything that we need to try to understand, Hakol tolui va'omed al inyan shleimus Yehuda Yisbarach. It all is dependent on the complete understanding and the complete revelation of his Yichud. Sherotza legales b'poel le'enei hanevroim ha'ela. He wants to actually, b'poel. Right now, we know God is a Yachid, Echad Yachid Yuchad. Without us revealing it to the world, he is still unique. There's nobody to compare him to in his wisdom. There's nobody to compare him to in his power. He is what he is. He doesn't need us to reveal it. But that's called B'koach. This concept of Yichud in terms of the creation is only a potential understanding. People don't fully understand this, let alone fully know about it, because until you study the Ramchal or other Sfarim, you say Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, and it means there's one God and there's no two gods. Or there's one God, no two gods, and God's a perfect unity. He's not made up of component parts. But this unbelievable idea that is the tachlis, the purpose of creation, Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, he is the Yachid, Shalit. He is the only sovereign with whom no one can compete and no one can compare. We don't necessarily think about that. We don't necessarily understand it. That's why we're studying the Daas Tevunos. And the purpose, while it's true that God is the unequaled, unparalleled, not to be compared to, without us, whether we understand it or not, God doesn't become unique because I understand he's unique. It is what it is, whether I understand it or not. But that's called the koach, that the understanding is only in its potential state, and God wants it to become b'poel. He wants it to actually become, he wants it to become actualized, that we actually study this and we understand it until it becomes an actual part of our lives and an actual part of the understanding of the world. For you, let me say, and what will the ramification of this, what will be born of this, when we fully understand what the revelation of his yichud, what it's dependent on, what do we have to do? We'll also understand all the rules that were set for all of creation, all the rules that are set in creation, all the rules of Teva. Everything that is found in the universe is there to somehow or other facilitate the Gili HaYichud. There's nothing here. There's no human here. There's no plant here. There's no creation here. There's no universe here. There's nothing here. And there's no there's no event that's happened in the past, in the present, or will happen in the future that is not common thread Gili HaYichud. But by studying what we're going to study about the Yichud, as the Sefer continues, you're going to understand the order of these things, the Seder, and on what foundation all these events stand. Rav Friedlander here on page Yudches 18 has a footnote, 33. Kivan shetachlis habriya hu legalus es yichuda yispara. Since the purpose of creation is to reveal God's yichud, lachein, therefore, kol nivra v'nivra notza l'shem kach. Read it again. Lachein, Rav Friedlander says, kol nivra v'nivra, every single creature, notza l'shem kach, was created for this purpose. Every human being, every single thing that's in the universe, every event occurs or was created for this common purpose. It was created for the Gili HaYichud. Imkein, therefore, when we begin to study, as the Sefer is now going to continue, all the different ways that God's Yichud can be revealed, Novin Tafkido shall kol nivra. We'll now understand the tafkid, the purpose of every creation. You'll understand what your tachlis in the world is, and I'll understand what my tachlis in the world is, and everybody will understand what their tachlis in the world is. It's a Gili HaYichud. But how you're going to do it, everybody's got a different way to climb up that mountain. But there's a common purpose. Al Kain Protov, Al Kol Protov will understand all the particulars of how the Yichud could be done. The Novin es Chuke HaNevroim Ba'olam we will understand all the rules that God set into the world for the world to function. And we're going to have a better understanding of how the world functions in its entirety. So this is the common purpose. And everybody's doing their work if they understand the yichud. And as we learn the Sefer, we're going to learn how a person could be Megal the yichud. And we're going to start, the Ramchal is going to go back to Adam Harishon and what Adam Harishon could have done to be Megal the yichud at that moment in history with the Nachash. And he had an opportunity, which we'll study about, and how he could have been Megal the yichud, and how he failed to do that. And from that, we're going to get an example from each of our lives. What can we do to be Megal the yichud? Because each of us, whether we know it or not, and whether we see it or not, we need to understand that each of us is confronted constantly by a nachash. I'm not talking about snakes, and I'm not talking about the devil. I'm not getting into that kind of stuff. That's not our kind of stuff. The nachash is a symbol of the Yetzer Hara. The nachash is the symbol for us of a Yetzer Hara. The nachash persuaded Chava, Adam, to do something that God told them not to do. That nachash for us is the Yetzer Hara. He's constantly talking to us about things we shouldn't be doing, about things we should do and shouldn't do. He's constantly trying to put a streimel and a bekisha on. The Yetzer Hara is, and I speak about this many times in Shiurim, the Yetzer Hara in the Sfarim say Yetzer Hara mamish has a beard with payas. You got to understand the Yetzer Hara is not some drunken bum off the street. If he was a drunken bum off the street and you saw him as a drunken bum off the street, you would never listen to him. Because if a drunken bum comes over to you on the street and says, hey man, why don't you have some marijuana? Why don't you have a smoke? Why don't you have this? Say, get away from me. Just leave me alone. I don't listen to drunken bums. So if the Yetzer Hara came to you as a drunken bum, you'd say, get away from me. The only thing you can be telling me is something that's not good for me. That's not the Yetzer Hara. Yetzer Hara comes with payas and a bekisha. And the Yetzer Hara will convince you, this thing is something you need to do. You got to do this. But you're not allowed to do it. Yeah, but these are circumstances where you do it. Sometimes the circumstances are such there are people that have very, 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 very from Yetzer Haras. There's a sugi in the Gemara called mitzvah aveira l'shma. There's a sugi in the Gemara in Nazir, and Daf Chaf Gimel Amid Beis. The Gemara talks about there's a possibility. We need to stay away from this. Trust me, stay away from it. But there's something called an aveira l'shma. A person does an aveira for the proper purpose, and it's almost like a mitzvah. Now, we have unbelievable Yetzer Haras. The Yetzer Hara will come to you and say, yes, I know that this is normally an aveira, but given your situation, it's a mitzvah. I'm not a drunk bum. I have a beard and pays. I'm telling you it's a mitzvah. Now, when the birdie in your head starts talking to you about it's a mitzvah, you don't know who's talking to you. Because once the word mitzvah comes out of the mouth, is it my Yetzer Toif talking to me? Or is my Yetzer Hara talking to me? How do I know who's talking to me? They're both saying the word mitzvah. Someone saying it's a mitzvah not to do it, and someone saying it's a mitzvah to do it. Who should I listen to? That's a whole separate subject. How do you know if Yetzer Hara is talking to you or Yetzer Toif is talking to you? But the Yetzer Hara is not a drunk bum. Yetzer Hara is a very wise entity, and just like the Nachash was able to give a song and a dance to Adam and Chava, right? Adam and Chava, these are brilliant people. They were created by God. They spoke to God. God spoke to them. They know God personally. How do you convince Adam and Chava and Adam, how do you convince them to go against God? God just created you. You've spoken to him. You have a personal relationship to him. How do you do something that God told you not to do? And the Ramchal will discuss that. But this is a very powerful art of persuasion. If the Nachash, and we know the Nachash walked on 2 feet before the Aveira, Nachash is a very, very powerful source of persuasion. And so is the Yetzer Hara for us. So we come across this Yetzer Hara all the time, and we confront what Adam Harishon confronted, and it was called for him Nachash. and he failed in the mission to overcome Nachash. And our daily, and because he failed in that mission to overcome Nachash, he failed in the Gilui Hayichud that was presented to him at that moment in history, which the Ramchal again will talk about. And every one of us, as we go through life, we're constantly confronted about what we should do. And when we make the right decisions against temptation, we're overcoming the Nachash and the Yetzer Hara, and that's a form of a Gilui Hayichud, because what you're saying is, listen, Yetzer Hara, there's only one sovereign in the world. It's not me, and it's not you, it's no one. There's only one sovereign in the world, and that's the Rebbeinu Shalom. If the Rebbeinu Shalom told me to do something, it's objectively true, and I'm going to do it. I'm not listening to you. If the Rebbeinu Shalom told me not to do it, it's objectively true that I shouldn't do it, and I'm not listening to you. And when a person goes through that kind of thought process, without him knowing it until he learns Ramchal, he's going through a process of Gilui Hayichud. I'm not listening to you. You're not my boss. I have nothing to do with you. I have a boss already. And I know what the truth is, and you look the Yetzer Hara in the eye, or the other Mauritian had the opportunity to look the Nachash in the eye and say, you are a lie. You are a liar. You are falsity. You stand for bringing falsity in my life. I'm walking away from you because there's only one truth, and that's God's truth. And that's a form of Gilui Hayichud that the Ramchal is going to talk about. So, Friedlander, footnote 33, just told us that Kol Nivra V'Nivra Notza L'Shem Kach. Ultimately, everything that was created for the purpose of the Gilui Hayichud, declaring God's sovereignty and revealing his sovereignty and the uniqueness of his sovereignty over the entire world. And as I said yesterday, the Ramchal tells us, after mankind does his work to bring the Gilui Hayichud as close to as possible that a man can do, Mashiach will come from Herav Yameinu and finish up our work. All the Yidden that need a refuah should have refuah. All the Yidden that need Yeshua should have Yeshuas. All Yidden that need Nechamas should have Nechamas. Refuahs, Yeshuas, Nechamas only can come from the Rebbeinu Shalom. Only can come from the Rebbeinu Shalom. And when we believe that, that itself is also a form of the Gilui Hayichud, that he is in control of Refuah, Yeshuas, and Nechamas. Of course, the Rebbeinu Shalom sends us shluchim. There are messengers. The doctor is a messenger from God to heal someone, but ultimately his power of healing comes from the Rebbeinu Shalom. And someone that can help us, yes, he's a shliach from the Rebbeinu Shalom. And when we help other people, we become God's messengers to help other people. When I can give, or someone can give tzedakah to someone else, it means that I become a messenger of the Rebbeinu Shalom to help someone else. So it's all about all the powers and all our abilities, understanding that they all come from the Rebbeinu Shalom. And that too is a thought process of Gilui Hayichud. Everybody have a wonderful day. Sei gesund. B'li neder will begin tomorrow, Tuesday morning at 9 o'clock with the Shir in Yeshayahu. We'll continue to Midos, and then we'll have some Daas Tevunos. Thursday, obviously, Erev Yontif, there will not be a Shir. Wednesday, there will be a Shir. We'll run it, the schedule slightly differently so we can talk a bit about the upcoming unbelievable Yontif of Matan Torah Shavuos. B'li neder, tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock for Yeshayahu, followed by Midas, followed by Daas Tevunos. Everybody have a wonderful, gesund day.